How's it going? This is part 3 of integrating Stripe, and we might not get to integrating Stripe in this video, although I hope we do. I want to prioritize having a valuable product before I start charging people. That's the reason for the delay in integrating Stripe. So Stripe will facilitate you can pay me stuff, but I would rather start by giving you free stuff and then charge you, as opposed to charging you for nothing and adding the stuff later. So in this stream, my #1 priority is to implement a 15-item basic checklist that will be sort of like a forever free tier that you get just for signing up. In the future, there could be a paid product, which is an advanced checklist that has more items that an individual can and should do to land their first programming role or break into tech. I also want to implement a pay what you want Latterly supporter and the ability to book coaching calls. So let's dive in. In future streams, we'll do educational content build out, more features like a rect integration. I want to do in real life events. That's going to be a lot of fun. And a Latterly chatbot, which is like ChatGPT, but it knows about all the Latterly curriculum and stuff. I think that will also be really cool. Okay, let's dive into this checklist. By the way, currently Latterly.io will forward you to Latterly. Here it is. I'm logged in currently. And so you can go sign up. Link is in my bio just to show you how to get there. TikTok or whatever platform you're on will have a link in my bio. Latterly.io is right up top, and that will take you to the production site. Okay, we're hosted on Vercel. Here is some of the upcoming features. We've talked about some, and then you can also visit the Issues tab. This is an open source project. Latterly is open source. And so the issues also talk about things that we're going to do. Here, basic checklist of 5 to 10 items. I ended up coming up with 15. So here we are in VS Code. Let's make sure that I have the latest in my local. Pulling on main, up to date, and I will create a feature branch. 8, which is the GitHub issue number, dash free basic checklist. Let's check it out. 8 dash tab, autocomplete with the tab. Oh, that's not working. Wonder why autocomplete's not working. Free basic checklist. Confirm that I switched over. I did. Cool. So where should this thing live? It's going to need its own component, basically. So here's the Prisma schema. We have a Next.js repository, so source and then pages. This is where all the pages go. I think I would like to create a new dashboard, but I don't know if I want to do that right now. Right now, let me start up the server. Blitz dev. Command click localhost 3000. It will open up the browser for us. This will take a second because we're starting up a development server. How to join the course. I just went over that. Link in my bio, latterly.io, or you can just visit latterly.io. Is the website live yet? Yes, it is. Thanks for being here, y'all. Also streaming over to YouTube. That link is also in my bio. Let's click and inspect. Let's just confirm that it's lagging. I can see we have the title on the browser still says loading, so it does look like it's just taking some time, and that's expected. Cool, there we go. So here is the localhost version. We want to log in. Unexpected, okay, my local host doesn't have the right DB connection string. That's fine, I can update that quickly, hold on. So in a tab that's off screen, I'm opening, well, let me show you what I can show you. So here we are on Vercel. I go to deployments. I'm going to settings, environment variables. And can I do this without... I might be able to just do this with the Vercel command line. So let me Vercel pull. I don't have Vercel. Yeah, I think I can do this securely while streaming through the Vercel command line. So the Vercel command line allows me to pull down environment variables. I need to install it. So here is, we're using npm in this project. You should be fine in any case. npm, yarn, pnpm, they should all be fine, but whatever you pick, remain consistent. Do you help land jobs? Yes, I do. Thanks, Victoria. Okay, so npmi-g, this is a global install with Vercel. Just check the version to make sure it works. Log into Vercel. Let's continue with GitHub. CLI login success. Great. Do I want to set up this current workspace for my Laterally 3? Yes, I do. And so this project already exists in Vercel, so I'm just linking it. So when I pull down the Vercel environment variables, I have multiple Vercel projects. Which environment variables do I want to pull down? The ones for this project. So that's what the linking process does. And it was smart enough to go by the repository name. And so the Vercel command line sort of suggested to me the correct items to pick. You can see it created .vercel.env development local file. Here I'm going to Vercel pull. And it updated this file. Now I will pull it off screen just to confirm the values, but in theory, that is the value that I wanted. Yep. So it's there, and it's correct. Let me close this. Typically, I use the blitz command line command. So here's blitz dev is what we're using here. I'm going to kill this server. And we will see if I can use Vercel dev instead. And I'll actually create another script, dev Vercel, which just calls Vercel dev. This is sort of a reminder that sort of like tells people that this project uses Vercel, but it does it in an unobtrusive fashion. You can use blitzdev directly if you want, so I'm not forcing you, but you can use this dev Vercel command if you have Vercel command line installed, which is optional, right? It's not required. It says it loaded it up. It says it loaded up two files, env local and env. I had to stop the dev server, so we have to reload this again. What are you making? We are working on Laterally.io. So this is a site that helps you learn to code, land a programming role, and then after you land your programming role, scale up to the senior level as quickly as possible. Okay, so here's localhost. We're back on the login screen. Let's see if it works now. And no, it's not working. So there is some sort of conflict between Blitz and Vercel here. I think the Blitz command line is being prioritized. I think that's the issue. All right, so I'll take this off screen once more. And I'm just going to not use the Vercel command this time, but I do have the physical file that has been downloaded to my Vercel dot folder. So I'm just going to go in there and grab the database URL that's in there, and I'm going to manually physically move it to my .env.local, which is the one used by Blitz. Cool. So let's try it one more time. And here I'll just use the ordinary run dev. And basically we can just roll back Vercel because we found there was an incompatibility. Migson, John, my boy, what's up? Always a pleasure to catch you cooking. Thanks, man. Good to see you. Neat. What languages? We're mainly working with TypeScript right now. Thanks for the follow. Quick reminder, I'm streaming with the full screen over to YouTube. The link there is in my bio. Okay, it looks like we reloaded. Let me try one more time. Looks like we're reloaded. And I was able to log in this time. So we're logged into localhost. And now what I want to do is create this to-do list. So how should I get to it from here? One thing I'd like to do is the logout button. I don't want this to be front and center. I want this to be in the upper right to replace the login. And then I think we should put the sort of recommended action item for the user front and center. Cool. We can put it on another page. We might change the way the UI looks in the future, but I think that'll work for now. So accelerate your tech career is here on this index page. Okay, so I'm going to change this UI, but I want to keep this stream as quick as possible, basically. So I'm just going to do this for now, and then we'll move the logout button and stuff like that. We'll do that later. Kaysen says, I'll check it out. Thanks, Kaysen. Hey, if you're enjoying the video, tap the screen to give it a like. Complete the basic checklist. We are going to link this. So let's use a link, which is a Vercel entity. It's pretty much an anchor tag. So it takes the href, and we are going to use / checklist. Okay, so it is hyperlinked now, although the style on it doesn't let it stand out very much. So I would like to alter that style. So here we will take a tailwind approach and change the text gray to either pink or orange. Those are our call to action colors. So here I will use my laterally dash, hoping for some IntelliSense. Let's just go laterally pink. Okay. The IntelliSense didn't really help me, but it worked anyway. So this is a pretty clear call to action, I think. Shia says, I have a basic understanding of JS. Can you teach me some more? Sure. You can also check out any number of online courses. The one I recommend is the Coursera course. with meta. Okay, I want this to underline on hover. So hover. And I don't know what is it just hover underline, just like that? Yeah. So I think that's a pretty clear call to action. Recommended next steps, complete the basic checklist. Now the problem is it points to a page that doesn't exist right now. So let's create that. We are going to blitz generate all I don't know if I want to create all. That might make a lot of things that I don't need. So I will need a checklist, and then a checklist will need checklist items. So let's make the checklist items first. A checklist item will have a display text, which is a string, and then it will have a status. We can just make it a Boolean is done. What else do we need for our checklist items? Oh, it needs a user. So here is the user. Model names need to adhere to this regex. Okay, I guess the string should be with a capital S. I think I did that backwards. I think display text is the value, not the key. So let's go string. No, string should be the value. Let's see. I think I'm typing something wrong here. Let me put the keyword all. Maybe that's what's throwing it off. Blitz generate all. Checklist item. Display text is a string in lowercase. Is complete is a Boolean. And user is a user. Cool. What MacBook is that? This is the M2 Air, 13-inch. Wifey in the back tearing shit up. Yeah, she's they're grocery bags.
Sorry.
I've only seen dark keyboards. I'm a fan of it. It works pretty well. Kason says, are we supposed to see the code as you write it? Oh yeah, totally. Why is that? Not showing. So if I change my browser, you see it. But if I bring up VS Code, okay, now do you see it? Weird. Okay, it looks like now you can see stuff. I don't know why that was happening. But anyway, why not using ChatGPT for today? Oh, I think we will, but basically this is a command line generator, Prisma migrate dev to update the database. You got to know when to use it. You don't just use it for everything. So this is a Blitz Prisma generator. It generates code for you. And this is better than ChatGPT, because ChatGPT would tell me like the code, but I would have to like go, see there's like 13 different files that got made. I would have to go create these files and paste the answer from ChatGPT. So it's not like you use ChatGPT like tool A or tool B. You have to know when to use what, right? Doesn't look like it's a map book. Yeah, it's a Mac Air. Okay, so here is the user, and user has checklist items. Great. And so here's a checklist item. Actually, I guess the user shouldn't have checklist items. Sorry, that was dumb. A user should have checklists. Enter a name for the migration. This will be called checklist item. Okay, and now let's run this again, but we are going to generate all checklist. A checklist has pretty much the same thing. It has a name, which is a string. It has a user, like this one actually does belong to the user. It has many checklist items. We can just call them items. Okay. And then it will also have an is complete. Makes sense to me. What do you think? No matches found. Checklist item. Okay. We can turn it plural manually. So, here it thinks an item is associated to many checklists. I don't want that to be the case, actually. So we will have to tweak this, but that's fine. So this is a init checklist. We can stage all these. This is init checklists. So Blitz automatically creates files. Yeah, that's correct. Is that SQL? No, it's Prisma. It's Prisma, which is a domain-specific language, a DSL. It's its own syntax, but it ends up creating SQL, but it's not SQL literal. Okay, so here's the push. This can be a point where we use GPT-4. But let's take a crack at this ourselves first. You know what? Let's not. Here, let's use GPT-4 for this. So consider the following draft Prisma schema that is being used with a Blitz.js project. This schema contains some errors. In particular, a user should have many checklists, but a user should not directly have any checklist items. Further, a checklist should have many checklist items, but a checklist item should not have many checklists. Feel free to suggest other changes as you see fit. The overall intent of the current work is to create an application similar to a to-do list feature. Copy that to my clipboard in case it's too long. Thanks for the follow, Sarah. To meet the requirements, we need to adjust these relations. Here's how it should look. Great. $77 likes. Let's get over 100. Thanks, Migson. 128. Thank you so much. Cool. So let's grab this new schema, copy that, Command A, Command V, save. There are going to be some problems with this. Prisma has a tendency to, GPT has a tendency to wipe comments, but in many cases I want to retain them. So this upper block here, I'm going to bring that over. Okay. Here, user has many checklists. Good, it did that correctly. We can get rid of the comment. That's not needed. Otherwise, this is looking good. It downcased checklist to checklists, which I love. See note below about token type enum, and then it wiped this type token type. But I do want to keep this. Highly recommend you use an enum. I do want to keep this. I'll probably use that in the future. Okay, checklist item belongs to a checklist. I think this is correct. I don't want the comment, but I think that the code change that it made is correct. So on the left, there's a bunch of checklists. On the right, there's just a checklist ID. That's great. Checklist belongs to a user. Checklist has many checklist items. I think it nailed it. Keep in mind here I'm using GPT-4. I don't recommend you mess around with GPT-3. Over 150 likes. Thank you so much. So now let's blitz Prisma. Let's go ahead and just npm run migrate. I think it's called migrate. Yeah, npm run migrate. Name for the new migration is fix checklist item relation. Cool. And we'll give the git commit the same syntax, fix checklist item relation. Push that. Now, here's where things get awesome. This is where GPT is really going to shine. I could do this by hand, but it would take me like a lot more time. We go here to our basic checklist of 5 to 10 items. I'm going to grab these 15 items. And I'm going to explain what I'm doing here. So I'm going to say role context task. And then I will say raw, or like I'll say this is part of the context. So let me put it in here. Use these backticks to delimit something that is technical in nature, like code. Let's go through and number these. I guess I lost the numbers when I copied from GitHub, but these are the steps that you should do, by the way, to land a coding job. Optimize your LinkedIn, number 7. Optimize your resume, number 8. Continually apply to 70+ places each week. Reach out if you need help, and finally land your job. Okay, so what is the role? You are a subject matter expert in teaching people to learn to code and land a programming job. Goal: you would like to create a checklist as in the checklist as defined in the prior Prisma schema. You would like to create a checklist of items as defined in the prior Prisma schema. You would like to create a TypeScript Prisma seed file that creates this checklist based on the context below. Really, that was the task, wasn't it? Let's just call this task. I don't need to separate the goal from the task. I think I got them both there. So here's role, task, and context. Here are 15 suggested I could break this into a chain of thought. I could have it discuss the items with me first and then make the code, but we'll do the reverse. I'll have it cast it to code, and then I will have it reflect and see if there are better items or different wordings it would recommend. Here are the 15 suggested checklist items or steps that students should accomplish in order to obtain a programming role. feel free to add additional items. No, let's not do that. One thing at a time. That might confuse it. Please provide the seed code. TypeScript Prisma code, meaning you use, and JS, meaning you use, is in Prisma. Yeah, so Prisma is a TypeScript ORM. You can use it with JavaScript or TypeScript. Prisma.io, check it out. So the schema is a DSL. You've seen the schema. This is a schema file. So it's defining the data models. So this is a schema DSL. It ends up creating SQL. It ends up creating TypeScript types as well. And it keeps them all in line, aligned. But when we write a seed file, this is in TypeScript. Hey, quick reminder, over 200 likes. Thank you so much. And 13 people here. Good to see y'all. Quick reminder, I'm streaming to YouTube and you can see the full screen over there. So here it made these checklist items. Looks pretty good. Oh, while I'm doing this, I will tell it browse Prisma official docs to look for the latest version and any associated syntax changes. It is now June 2023. So it's going to go browse the web now. Because I selected the model web browsing for GPT-4, it has a knowledge cutoff in 2021. So I'm going to try this as it gave it to me, but it will be looking for syntax changes. Let's manually review. Is that GPT-4 with a Bing thread? Yep, that's correct. Good to see you, Nate. B-Pun. What's up, B-Pun? Thank you for the follow. Okay, so you can see we wiped index, which is already bad. We need index. So let's bring it back. By the way, what is DB? DB is an enhanced Prisma, which basically takes the role of any time that we would have used Prisma client. So here we would have used Prisma client, and we are literally going to just say equals DB. Okay, what else? Wiped the comment, that's fine. So it just invokes main and eventually disconnects. That's great. Okay, I think that does it for inspecting the diff. Here, this console logs the checklist. I would rather log a message. Checklist seeding done. It's attaching it to user ID 1. I don't actually want to do that. This is a good point. So the checklist should not require a user. It should be optional. Checklist. So the user ID here is required. So a user has many checklists, and a checklist belongs to a user. I want some sort of generic checklist that can be assigned to users. Let me clarify that. I want users to be assigned checklists, which are collections of checklist items. But I don't want the checklist itself. Is there a problem with my logic here before I go ask GPT to do something that's sort of crazy? I have some checklists. It's like, hey, you should do tasks A, B, and C. That checklist can be assigned to, so I need an intersection table basically. I want a user to be assigned checklists, which are collections of checklist items, but I don't want the checklist itself to be tightly coupled to a single user. Rather, I would like generic checklists to exist independently, and users may have their own copy which reflects their own progress. Please update the Prisma schema accordingly. Maybe I need a user checklist entity or something like that. What do you think? Cool. So let's update the schema. We'll look at the difference. I think we need to revert comment deletion. Should otherwise be good. It left out the session and the token, but that's okay. Okay, so we've corrected that. We can see this is just a formatting change. User checklists looks good. Here's the creation of the new entity. And then the checklist model was sort of just moved. So there's user checklist, checklist. Let me put this down at the bottom so it looks less of a diff. There's a smaller diff. So a checklist, I think this relation is fine. Okay, I'm not seeing any obvious errors. Based on the schema change and the changes in Prisma, should we update the, or like, I don't want to ask it, should we rewrite the seed file? Let me stop and edit this. Note that I do not need to associate this generic checklist to any users. I just want the generic checklist created so that users can enroll into it in the future. Wonder what it's browsing for. That's interesting. I can't directly run code. I wonder what it got so confused about. I wasn't trying to ask it to run code. Based on the schema change and the changes in Prisma, rewrite the seed file. Oh, okay. It thought that I wanted to actually write code when I said that. I'm using Supabase with my app. Should I be using Prisma? No, I use them together. So Prisma is an ORM. It's not a database. It connects to your database. So we'll grab everything. We'll just grab everything. But I don't want this Prisma line here. It's easy enough to fix. Okay, so let me grab this on my clipboard, and then I Command Shift Z to reinstate it. Here I'm closing this line, and I'm setting Prisma equals DB. In theory, this is not necessary, and I can change all the following to just say DB, but we'll let that be. There's some issue here with the data. Okay. Because I need to regenerate my schema. So Prisma, or like npm run migrate. Now I want to reload the client. Okay, it's already happy. So now I want to seed. Blitz Prisma DB seed. I need to add this block into my Nerf Scuttler. What up, what up? I need to add this block into my package.json file. Right-click, close others. Here I will use the breadcrumbs to help me navigate more quickly into the package.json file. Double-click to pin it. Here the Prisma block already exists, so let me grab the seed out of the middle of it and undo. Throw a comma at the end so I can have two entries here. And now Blitz Prisma DB seed. Prisma seed is not the right location, so that's some boilerplate Prisma is saying, but we use DB. So here I will change this to say DB. And I don't need the dot slash, I can do this. Let me add a seed command. And here I will blitz Prisma DB seed. Now I can npm run seed. Cannot find module seed.ts. Okay, so it's here. It's a sibling of the schema file. All right, let me use the dot slash. I don't like this sort of asymmetric path declaration between lines 19 and 20, but I guess that's a difference between how Prisma processes paths and how TS Node processes paths. So I guess that's fine. Still complaining about the same thing. TS Node says I cannot find module seed TS. Let's ask GPT. I have this block inside of my package.json. When I blitz Prisma DB seed, I get a path resolution error. K-Baller, thanks for the follow. Yeah, I do agree that maybe TS Node is misinstalled. So what TS Node do I even have? Let me look at my node modules. I don't know that I even have it installed. I was relying on it working through. So here's TS Node. I was relying on it working through Blitz or Prisma. Let me look on the Blitz site. Here's seed. Blitz DB seed. What was I running? Blitz DB seed. Blitz Prisma DB seed. Okay, so that could totally just be the issue there. Blitz DB seed. Let me take out this line altogether. I don't know if I need it. I may, but we'll see. Couldn't find default export from DB seeds. Okay. I think I just didn't export it. So export default seed. Seed is an async function. Cool. So we invoked main in the code GPT gave us, but instead of invoking anything, let's just export it. So we'll have, instead of main, we'll have this seed function. Const seed is defined here. Okay. And then we just export it and we let Blitz handle the catching and the finally and so on. Cool. So it looked like that works. Let's confirm in Supabase. I might try to learn SQL. Cool. Do you know how to use Excel? Yeah. Why don't you just remove Node and reinstall? There's no reason to do that. That's totally unnecessary. Node is working fine. So here's my tables. We have all this fun stuff, and I want to see that checklist exists now. So here's a checklist, programming job checklist, and checklist items. All of this is populated as expected. That's looking great. So let me clean this up. That's looking great. Cool. So here I will have a feature which is seed programming checklist. Because I'm trying to wrap this stream up as soon as possible, we're going to do something a little bit hacky, and I'm just going to put the checklist, I'm just going to dump it right here. So there's not a checklist page. Let me stop my server and start it again, because I think that should exist. But I guess I created it after I started the dev server. Firebase or Supabase? The answer is Supabase. Reinstall Node now, please. No thanks. Over 600 likes and 30 people. Thank you, thank you. Hey, I'm trying to grow my YouTube, so you can look at my YouTube in my bio, and I'm streaming there. I'm streaming the whole screen. You can see the whole screen. Also, this is part 3 of a series, and so the whole playlist is over on YouTube. Max Torres, what's up? Max says, are you a big YouTuber? The answer is no. I have, I don't know, 640 followers, something like that. I'm trying to get to 1,000, so I would totally appreciate your support. Small YouTuber here, trying to grow. Okay, so we go to source, we go to index. Here's the index page. Max says, nice, I will sub. Thank you so much, Max. Thanks for being here. So 2 things to do. First, I just want to verify that this checklist page works at all. Looks like it does not. Oh, you know what? It might need an S. Yeah, it's the plural. Needed checklists. So here's the checklist. And this UI is very janky, right? It's just the auto-generated boilerplate. Okay, so let's add the S here. Now we have checklists. Yeah, and what I want to do is I don't want to show the user this list of generic checklists. I want them to complete their own personalized checklist. So let's do my basic checklist. We'll make a new page here. I'm going to go to an older conversation with GPT when I was talking about my Tailwind style, so it sort of remembers the Tailwind style of this page. Let's make a new page called My Basic Checklist. The issue is that I need GPT to understand information from style and information from that schema. So let's, never mind that. Let's remain on the current conversation. Consider the, what are you doing? Sorry for the interruption, code. Yep, yeah, we're coding. Following Blitz.js page component, which uses Tailwind styling, Tailwind for style. Please generate a page component called My Basic Checklist that creates a user checklist based on the generic that we seeded. If such a user checklist doesn't already exist, then it displays these checklist items on the page for the user. That was a little bit of a complicated ask. Let's see if it understood. And now it's searching Google. I guess that's a good thing. Bro, I don't know if it's my internet connection, but your YouTube stream is of very, very low resolution. Oh, that stinks. Sorry about that. Can you increase font size? I guess. Puff got hired 2 jobs, 2 days, gonna make big bucks, guys. Cool. Congrats. What is this? Fly high with the best PC flight controls. Yo, it got so confused. So it's trying to research flight control, which it should not be doing. Blitz.js create record if not exists. Let me update this so that it does not use flight control. Remember that a Blitz.js page is also a Next.js page component. This, the solution should not utilize flight control. What else do I want to tell it? Also remember that Prisma is the ORM, so we should create the record if it doesn't already exist in the Prisma way, which is not in the Prisma way, rather than looking for a special Blitz.js way to do this. To do this, although we do want to use Blitz.js queries and mutations. But they will simply wrap Prisma. This is a pretty complicated ask. I'm not surprised that it got confused. I enjoy working in product management, but thinking about going to a boot camp for full stack. Cool. Looks like a React component. Yep, it's Next.js. Next uses React. How many tabs? I don't know, 20 or 30. Worried if I need a dev position, I won't get hired because of lack of experience. Any recommendations? Yeah, start a GitHub portfolio today. Create a GitHub portfolio today. And then don't tell people that you don't have experience. Tell them that you do have experience and you have a portfolio to prove it. Y'all, my wife got me this like tomatoes and cheese and prosciutto, and it's like amazing. I like that. So I can come up with any personal project to show my worth. Yes. Actually, hilariously enough, these checklist items we're going through advise on that specifically. Command F, blog. Number 4, I have a portfolio with 4 projects, including Vanilla.js blog, Next.js blog, and a capstone project that reflects my personal interests and a portfolio site. So if you have those, you'll be good. The blog is something that helps you learn, and it's also something employers will understand. And then the capstone project reflects your personal passion, which is really, really important. Okay, here's a rough version of a My Basic Checklist page. Cool. Source checklists queries get generic checklist.ts. Source checklists queries, new file, get generic checklist.ts. We'll paste that in there, save this. It's mad about the resolver, that's fine. I can move it from there to here. We can do similarly with the not found error. It just changed its import location. I think it's called name, isn't it? Yeah, it's not called title. Cool. That was easy to fix. Now we have get user checklist. Get user checklist, which is also under checklist queries. Okay, works for me. New file, get user checklist.ts. Pasting, saving. Let's get rid of all of these imports and re-import them with VS Code Quick Fix. We are able to easily solve these. Now the user ID is not coming in through the session because it might be null. Okay, so we can keep this open and we'll ask to easily fix that momentarily. Get generic, get user checklist. Then we use these queries in the get server-side props of the My Basic checklist. So this is the Blitz page. So yeah. Now we want to create a sibling of this index pages. We can use /checklists. I think that's fine. So source pages. New file will be mybasicchecklist.tsx. It's a bit of an unconventional implementation, but I'm fine with that. It got confused on itself. Is there an issue in your code? Let's let it reflect. I think it should catch it. Is Mac good for coding? Macs are great for coding. This is a crazy cookies operation. That is definitely not what we should do. I'm having trouble selecting correctly. I guess I don't really need to select correctly. I could just delete the part that was irrelevant. Okay, My Basic checklist. I want to export default My Basic checklist. Okay. I don't know that passing checklist items as an argument this way works. How does passing checklist items as an argument to the blitz page work. I think I should use something like a route hook instead. Can't even copy and paste right. Yep, you got me. Why are you creating this? Work or just teaching us? Yeah, partially for teaching y'all, but also I'm making a tool that you'll be able to use. So in my bio, you can go to laterally.io and you can sign up right now. This is already in production. And this will give you a basic checklist of 15 items that will help you land your programming job. So we're implementing the checklist today. You're right, in most cases you would use data fetching hooks provided by Blitz. Cool, so I think it's much better here. Hell yeah, thank you. Very, very welcome. Asking ChatGPT is not coding. You triggered, bro? Thanks for the likes, over 1,000. Hey, I'm streaming over to YouTube. You can see the full screen and the link is in my bio. Okay, so a lot fewer errors now. Create user checklist. Good. What is the code for the mutation? Okay, so I want to go to checklists. I want to go to the mutations. And here is create user checklist.ts. Okay, so we'll save this. Resolver is no longer in Blitz core server. Quick fix that. Looks good. Get session. I should be able to get this through the resolver. Yeah, I think I need like 5 more minutes. Saying using GPT isn't coding is like saying using Google isn't coding. That's exactly right. Checklist ID does not exist on unknown. Good, good. Now we have the CTX type that should fix this. Okay, I'll just manually throw an authorization error. If not user ID, throw new. Let's do an authentication error. Cannot find user ID. Right, let's do this. If not session.userid. Cool, and otherwise this component is good to go. I want to do similarly in my query, right? In the below code, we cannot find where generic checklist comes from. As long as you know what's going on, it's fine. Yep. What are you making? We are improving this latterly.io, which is in my bio. You can go sign up now. We're improving it so that it tells you a checklist of things to do. Indeed, in the provided code is not defined. You'll need to fetch the generic checklist within your resolver. Okay. Think this looks pretty good. All right, let's go here now. So here I go to the home page. My basic checklist cannot be found. Let me restart the server. I guess it would be checklists / my basic checklist, wouldn't it? So I might need to change the route in the index file. And we'll be wrapping up in the next 2 minutes, so make sure to follow the page, please. I can sort of eagerly commit these. Okay, my basic checklist, and let's update the route to say checklists /. Cool. So this is the right page, but there's some sort of error there. So I'm updating the route checklists /. Oh, did I not create the, did I not create that mutation? I thought I did. Checklist mutations, create user checklist. Totally exists. What's the issue? Cool, not sure. Let's re-import these from their proper sources. I think since the GPT knowledge cutoff, the location of some of these packages has changed. But you can see I'm just grabbing them out of the blitz.js RPC package. We don't need this use state. Okay, so we have progressed a little bit. Favorite strategies for debugging? Ooh, I have like so many of them. I don't think I'm going to get to that today. Sorry. Leave a comment on one of my videos, and I'll address that. I actually have addressed it in the past, but that will take us far afield. I think debuggers and console.log get you pretty far, but that's like not even very much of the story, is it? User checklist.checklist. Okay. Consider this page I receive this error. Cool. Get user checklist query is updated. Get user checklist. Checklist ID does not. Okay, so hopefully we're not looping. All right, let's just look at this. So we're going to find first where, and then we want to include. So it's the includes block that's missing. So let's just grab this block in particular. So I'll look for the where clause. Here's the generic checklist. Here's the user checklist. Here's the includes block. And we want it to include checklist. Checklist is being included. So here's the user checklist. So the checklist is being included. Yeah, the checklist was already being included. So let's see what the issue is. I think it is not included on the create. Yeah, and this is not the right way to use refetch. All right, well, I am going to have to wrap this up offline. So follow the page. This will be fixed tonight, but unfortunately it won't be fixed now. Do check out the website tomorrow or even in a couple hours, and this feature will be working, but it's going to take me like at least 10 more minutes to fix this. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.